Hi everyone, Diane Gale here from the blog sustainableslowliving.com. I thought that I'd bring you along with me today as I make some oat milk. I switched to plant milk in my diet. I couldn't tell you how long ago. It's been some time. I'm not a purist, so it's not that I don't ever drink milk. I do occasionally drink milk. Probably I most often get milk in my diet when I'm eating something that someone else made, or in a restaurant, or if I pick something up at the grocery store that was pre-made. But those are things that I don't do a lot, especially now that I've moved up here to northern Maine. Usually I don't go to restaurants. There's not very many. And even the little shops, the little stores that we have, there's not very many of them, and they don't have a large offering compared to what I'm used to. I mean, they're lovely. They're absolutely lovely for these little country towns, and that's the reason that I came here. But they don't offer the same things that I'm used to having, because I was used to having kind of the world at my fingertips. And so compared to what I used to get, the milk that I used to get in my diet when I lived back home in Pennsylvania, northeast Pennsylvania, I hardly get that at all as well. So I switched to plant milk a while ago. It's been years. I really couldn't tell you how long. And I've always purchased my plant milk in the grocery store. I usually purchase unsweetened, organic. Cashew is my favorite, but I tend to purchase almond most often. I also like coconut milk. I like soy milk. I like soy milk a lot, but it's much creamier, much richer than other plant milks, and so I don't use it as a general substitution. I would use it for things that I wanted that extra creaminess in, like a cream of broccoli soup. But if you go to the store and you look at the plant milk products that the food industry has put on the shelves for us, they're really not that good for you. The food industry is doing the same thing with the plant-based foods that they're putting on the shelves for us to consume that they did with other foods that they put on the shelves for us to consume. They're not ethically producing them. They're not keeping them chemical free. And a lot of what they do is trickery. They can, I know this is a meat product, but when they say that you're buying grass-fed beef, if they put that beef out into the pasture to grass feed for 2 weeks of its entire life, they can label it grass-fed beef. And so they do, because they can get away with it. They're doing the same kinds of things with plant-based products. And that only makes sense, because they are in business to make money. And that's what they're going to try to do. And as long as we give them our dollars, we're voting for them to deceive us. So I purchased plant-made, I purchased industrial-made plant milks for years. When I switched to plant milk, I certainly didn't have the time to switch to making plant milk and having that be part of my regular routine. And I kind of took the attitude that eliminating the dairy milk that's so full of hormones, even if there are no hormones added, the pregnancy process of the animal naturally adds hormones to the milk. So when I decided to put that behind me, I went to plant milk, and the easiest thing for me to do was to purchase it in the store. And it's been a good option for me. But recently I've been leaning more toward making all of my own products, including things like condiments, ketchup and mustard and mayonnaise and salad dressing and things like the milk that I drink, because I can make it more pure than I can purchase it in the store. It is better for me. And oat milk has become my favorite plant milk to consume, and mostly that is because, first of all, it's delicious. And I mean, it rivals every other plant milk out there. So there's not, you know, as far as taste is concerned, each one of them is a little different. And yes, I have taste preferences. I've already said cashew milk is my favorite, but oat milk is one of the best. And it really is delicious. And it's very, very, very good for you. Where a lot of the nut milks, you kind of want to limit what you consume of them. And with oat milk, you're a little bit more free to just have as much as you would like. But the other reason is it's incredibly inexpensive to make oat milk. I mean, it's really very inexpensive. I'm going to show you the process of how to make it today. Most of the time when I make it with just oats and water. And I do that when I'm going to use it for baking, for cooking, you know, for just general use, kind of to have in the refrigerator like you would any other milk. But today I'm going to add a little bit of maple syrup to it. And you can also toss in a little bit of sea salt. Some people throw in a pinch of sea salt. I'm not even sure why they put that in there. I don't bother. I just don't add salt to anything that I don't have to. But today I am going to put a little maple syrup in it. And I do make it that way when I want to use it on a cereal, or when I want to put it on, put it on my tea. When I want to use it in my tea. Sometimes when I'm going to bake with it, I'll make it that way. I like to have that little bit of sweet in it. So I use a pure maple syrup, or I use fresh honey, raw honey, if you can get it. Use local honey. Always use local honey. The bees know what you need. Or dates. Dates, because I don't have a Vitamix, I have a Ninja food processor, which I absolutely adore. But I don't have a Vitamix. Vitamix will chew your dates right up, and it'll make them smooth. There'll be no chunks left. With the Ninja, I do a lot of things with dates where I just throw the dates in because it processes them down to very little specks. And if I'm baking something and it's okay that that's in there, then I'll do that. But a lot of times if you want something really smooth, you have to soak your dates ahead of time. So, but just 1 or 2 dates is going to make the amount of oat milk that we're going to make today. Regular pitted dates, not Medjool. It's going to make that oat milk super sweet, and you do have to soak them overnight in some of the water that you're going to use for the recipe, but that's not a big deal. Today, for ease, and because it happens to be what is most readily available to me in my cupboard, we are going to use fresh, pure maple syrup. And living up here in northern Maine, fresh, pure maple syrup is for sure a thing. It's, you know, Maine is known for its fresh, pure maple syrup. So I always have some on hand. I love maple syrup, but again, remember the flavor you're putting in your milk and think about what you're going to use your milk for. But nonetheless, that was an awful long introduction to a very simple process. So let's just get to making our oat milk. So it's very simple. The process is very simple. I'm going to take, first of all, you want whole rolled oats. You don't want, we're not using quick oats for this. And that's one of the things that makes it so inexpensive. If you live in a bigger area, I know that you must have a grocery store somewhere that has bulk bins, and you can get whole rolled oats there. You can also pick them up in just about any grocery store. I am fortunate enough to be able to pick these up from a local Amish store. So I have 4 pounds of whole rolled oats here for $3.29 from the Amish store. And I'm going to use a 1/2 cup today to make this batch of milk. It's a small batch of milk, but even if you used a cup, this is going to go an awful long way. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to take the lid off of our food processor. I have my blade, the sharp blade attachment in here, and we're going to put, I have another bag of oats here that's already been started, so I'll use that. We're going to put half a cup of oats into the food processor. Simple enough. And then we are going to put, I'm going to put some vanilla in this too. And I'm going to use some imitation vanilla today. I apologize for that. That is what I have on hand. I try to use pure vanilla extract. It's surprisingly difficult to get my hands on way up north here. But if you can get your hands on pure organic vanilla extract, it's the best. So please do use that. That is my preference. You want a filtered water. I usually just buy a spring water in the store. I do that most of the year. We also have a local spring here. The water is suitable for drinking, and while all of your recipes are going to tell you that you need a filtered water, that's because of bacteria. I use the spring water. That is up to your discretion. I feel like it's just fine. And I am generally only keeping this plant milk around for, like I said, 5 to 7 days. And that's the upper limit because it doesn't last me that long. We go through a lot of plant milk. Like I said, I use it in everything. So anyway, we have half a cup of rolled oats in there. We're going to put in 3 cups of water, and there it goes all over the table. 1, 2. Wow, for somebody who's worked in a kitchen for 40 years, I'm really slopping it up here. Okay, there we go. 3 cups of water. And then clean it off your table. Jeez, what a mess. Okay, and then we're going to put in 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And the vanilla and the maple syrup, or if you use honey or dates, those are things that, you know, you're going to adjust to your preference. So start with the recipe that I'm giving you, and then if you want it a little sweeter, if you want it a little less, if you want a little more vanilla taste, or maybe you don't want vanilla at all. A lot of times when I'm cooking with it, like if you're making cream of broccoli soup with your plant milk, you don't want maple syrup and vanilla in it. So it really does just depend on what you're using your milk for. And then I'm only going to put 1 tablespoon of maple syrup in this. I do sometimes put 2. I'm going to swish that around, and then we'll get some of that syrup off. You don't want to waste that good maple syrup. And it sticks to the measuring spoon. Okay, there we go. So, simple enough. Simple enough. I'm going to put the lid on this. And I'm going to process it on low for probably about 30 seconds. I'm not sure whether or not this is probably gonna be a little loud for you. So let's see how this goes. I might have to cut the processing out of the video. But yeah, maybe about 30 seconds, right? So ready, set, and go. All right, so I left it in there. I processed it for 60 seconds because, I don't know, it was doing just fine. It made the most sense to me to allow the oats to spend a little more time swirling around in that water. So now what we're going to do is we're going to strain this. You don't want to strain this like, you can strain it through a cheesecloth or, you know, a piece of organic muslin. You can strain it, I mean, any way that you like. You can strain it. You can strain it through a nut milk bag. It's kind of unnecessary, but you don't want to strain this through a cheesecloth and then try and squeeze all the excess liquid out of it, because the oats are a little bit mucilaginous, and when you try to strain all of that extra liquid out of it, you're gonna kind of get it's a little slimy, and you're not gonna want that in your nut milk. In your oat milk, it leaves, it's just not the right texture. So really what you're going to want to do with this is you're going to want to just strain it through a little mesh strainer. If you're making a big quantity and you have a big bowl and you have a decent sized mesh strainer that you can put over it, that's even better. I live in a very tiny house, so I would love to have a better way to produce more oat milk because we use it, but I have to kind of produce it in small batches because otherwise I have to purchase more equipment, more things, and I just don't have anywhere to put them. So I do it this way. I'm going to pour it through this strainer into a quart jar, just like that. And then, I guess I didn't bring everything back here that I needed. I guess we're just going to use this tablespoon to get it out of here because I didn't bring a spoon back. Bring that down into there. Get the last of it out of there. And then there it is. And actually, that's like the perfect size for what I did there. And I would let that sit, and I would let it, oh, I'm kind of holding it way up there. And then there it is. That's better. And it's kind of the perfect size for what I did there. But there's your oat milk, and it's delicious. I mean, it's really, really delicious. And a lot of times you're going to see blogs where they tell you, you know, and then you can still use the oats for baking, and I'm sure you can. I've never tried it. I might try it one day in the future. And, you know, so one day in the future, if I try it and it works out for me, you might hear me saying the exact opposite of what I'm about to say now. Or if any of you know that you can do that and that it works really well, please let me know that down in the comments because I would be interested to know. I've never tried it. It's such a negligible amount of oats to me. And they're so inexpensive that I always just take and toss them away. And there I am with my great oat milk. Oh my gosh, it smells delicious. I love it. I love it. And you're going to love it too. And like I said, it's a lot less expensive than purchasing plant milks in the store. But probably the most important thing is that it is a lot better for you. It is pure plant milk without all of the added extras. You know, they have to put preservatives. If this is only going to last 5 to 7 days in your refrigerator, they have got to put something in that milk to make it last longer than that. And maybe some of those things are natural, not necessarily good for you though, and just not necessary. This is all you need right here, and you can make it yourself. And as you can see, it's super easy. So give it a shot. Let me know what you think, because I'm interested to know. Let me know if you have any tips or tricks about making oat milk or actually any other plant milk. I'm kind of new to it. Like I told you, I've only been doing it for a short time. I was purchased mine in the store, and I would love to hear what you have to say. So thanks for coming and spending some time with me today. It's been great to have you here, and please do hit the subscribe button down below and the notification bell so that you get notified every time that I put out a new video. It's been great spending time with you. I'll see you soon.